Before we begin, there are a couple of items to be aware of. Using a personal email account, such as Gmail, AOL, or Yahoo, also referred to as a biz account since it utilizes the BlackBerry Internet Service, along with your NotifySync account is feasible, but requires an extra step to avoid issues with calendar synchronization. For additional information, check our support knowledge base at support.notifycorp.com/support and enter 314 in the search box. If using SSL, you may see a prompt on the device to accept the certificate. If you attempt to accept the certificate and receive an error that prevents registration from completing, reference our support knowledge base at support.notifycorp.com/support and enter 1126 in the search box. It is recommended to perform a backup of your device before you begin. Both the Notify BlackBerry installer used to download the client as well as the NotifySync client itself will be located under the Downloads folder after installation. Just as you used the Notify BlackBerry installer to initially download the client, you will also use it to check for software updates periodically. Simply open the installer and select Check for Updates and choose to install any updates that are available. Open the NotifySync application to begin registering your device. The first step in registering NotifySync is to enter the user's full email address. If the username is the same as the email address, simply check the box. Otherwise, enter the username on the specified line. This option was made available for hosted mail systems such as Microsoft Online, who require the full email address as a result of having multiple domains associated with the same server address. Checking this box removes the username and domain fields. Next, you will enter the user's email password. If necessary, enter the domain. Your best source for what you should enter in the domain field is your mail server administrator. Sometimes NotifySync registration can be completed by leaving the domain field blank. You might find the domain contained in the login used to access webmail. That login is often in the format domain/username. Sometimes the text that comes after the @ sign in a user's email address is considered the domain. For example, if your email address is myname@mycompany.com, your domain may be mycompany.com. Sometimes the domain may be part of the text that comes after the @ sign in a user's email address with .local appended to it instead of .com. For example, if your email address is myname@mycompany.com, your domain could be mycompany.local. You can choose to leave the network setting as the Auto Detect default, which allows the device to choose the best available connection, or you can choose a specific connection if you prefer. Select Next to go to Step 2. At this time, the device will attempt to auto-discover the correct ActiveSync server address based on the information entered in Step 1. If auto-discover is successful, the server address will be pre-populated in Step 2. If it is not successful, you will simply be required to manually enter the address. Step 2 asks for the license key provided by your enterprise sales manager. Next, enter the ActiveSync server address. Because auto-discover was not successful, we have to manually enter the address here. Best practice is to enter the domain name for the server address as opposed to an IP address. This would prevent synchronization issues should the IP address change. If using SSL, you would select the Use HTTPS checkbox. If not using SSL, then you would deselect this checkbox. Checking the Use HTTPS box will not enable the use of SSL unless an administrator has implemented an SSL certificate on the mail server. You have another opportunity to modify your network setting here as well. Select Next. The final step of registration asks what you would like to sync to the device. You can leave the box checked to sync email. For calendar, contacts, tasks, or memos, you can choose to replace the items on the device, merge items, or not sync items to the device. Choosing to replace device items deletes items currently on the device and replaces them with items synchronized from the server. Merge items merges the items that currently exist on the device and server together in both locations. Please note that when items exist on both the server and device, choosing to merge items will result in duplicates on both the server and device. Do Not Sync prevents this item type from synchronizing. Select Finish. When you select Finish, if you choose to replace any of the items, a dialog prompts you to confirm that you want existing items removed before the registration will proceed. Once registration completes, new email will begin to arrive on your device, and it will appear in this way.